Imagine being just 14 years old, sent away on a fun summer trip to visit family, only to step straight into an absolute nightmare that would alter American history forever. Today, we're diving into a dark, deeply tragic chapter of true crime, the tragic loss of young Emmet Till. Our victim was Emmet Till, a bright, joker-loving 14-year-old kid from Chicago. In August 1955, Emmet took a train down south to stay with his great-uncle in Money, Mississippi. Just a few days into his trip, Emmet and some local kids stopped by a small neighborhood store to grab some bubble gum. What happened inside that storefront is still heavily debated, but reports claim the young teen supposedly whistled at the white female store clerk on his way out. In the deeply segregated Jim Crow South, that innocent or misunderstood gesture broke an unwritten, brutal social rule. Days later, the situation turned fatal. In the dead of night, two men forced their way into Emmet's uncle's home and abducted the child. Local law enforcement didn't have to dig deep to find the culprits, because the community whispers quickly led straight to them. Store clerk Carolyn Bryant's husband, Roy Bryant, and his half-brother, J.W. Mellum. Days later, Emmet's heavily battered body was dragged straight out of the Tallahatchie River, tied down with a heavy cotton gin fan. So what was the twisted motive behind this horrific act? Pure, unadulterated societal hostility and a toxic desire to enforce regional dominance. The perpetrators felt deeply threatened and enraged by a young visitor from the north, allegedly failing to show absolute submission. They wanted to send a terrifying message to the entire community, operating under the sickening belief that their actions would face zero consequences. The ensuing trial became a massive national spectacle. Reporters and activists flooded Mississippi to watch the proceedings. But the courtroom setup was completely rigged from the jump. Brave eyewitnesses, including Emmet's great-uncle, risked their lives just to point the finger at the killers. Despite clear, undeniable eyewitness testimony placing the men at the kidnapping, the defense team played entirely into local prejudices, turning the courtroom into a biased circus. And the verdict? Shocking, though entirely predictable for that era. An all-white, all-male jury deliberated for a mere 67 minutes, with one juror famously joking that they took a break to grab a soda first before handing down a verdict of not guilty. Because of double jeopardy rules, the two men walked out of court as free individuals. Just a year later, fully protected from being retried, they brutally bragged about the entire tragedy in a paid magazine interview. However, the global outrage over the verdict ignited the flames of the American civil rights movement, ensuring Emmet's name would never, ever be forgotten. Hit that subscribe button for more true crime shorts.